Meditation on the 5 sense organs. Aniruddha then rose from his seat, prostrated himself with his head at the feet of the Buddha, and declared, "After I left home, I was always very fond of sleep, and the Tathagata scolded me, saying that I was like an animal. After this severe reprimand, I wept bitterly and blamed myself. Because of my sadness, I did not sleep for 7 successive nights and went completely blind. Then the world-honored one taught me how to take delight in the enlightening Vajra Samadhi, which enabled me to perceive, not with my eyes, but my mind, the pure truth, pervading the 10 directions, very clearly perceptible, as easy to see as a mango held in my own hand. The Tathagata sealed my attainment of arhatship. As he now asks about the best means of perfection, to me, seeing is, according to my personal experience, the best, which is made possible by turning the organ of sight back to its source." Ksunda Panthaka then rose from his seat, prostrated himself with his head at the feet of the Buddha, and declared, "I did not know much about the Dharma for wanting of reading and reciting the scriptures. When I first met the Buddha, I heard of the Dharma and then left home. I tried to memorize a line of his gatha, but failed for 100 days, because as soon as I could retain his first words, I forgot the last ones, and when I could remember the last words, I forgot the first ones. The Buddha took pity on my stupidity and taught me how to live in a quiet retreat and to regularize my breathing. At the time, I looked exhaustively into each in and out breath and realized that its rise, stay, change, and end lasted only an instant. Thereby my mind became clear and unhindered until I stepped out of the stream of transmigration and finally attained arhatship. I came to stay with the Buddha, who sealed my realization of the state beyond study. As he now asks about the best means of perfection, to me, breathing is the best, according to my personal experience in turning the breath back to the condition of nothingness." Gavampati then rose from his seat, prostrated himself with his head at the feet of the Buddha, and declared, "Because of my verbal sin, when I trifled with monks in a former eon, in every succeeding reincarnation I have been born with a mouth that always chews the cud like a cow. The Tathagata taught me the pure and clean doctrine of one mind, which enabled me to eliminate the conception of mind for my entry into the state of samadhi. I looked into tasting, realized that it was neither a subjective substance nor an objective thing, and leaped beyond the stream of transmigration. I thereby disengaged myself from both the inner body and mind and the outer universe, and was released from the 3 worlds of existence. I was like a bird escaping from its cage, thus avoiding impurities and defilements. With my Dharma eye now pure and clean, I attained arhatship, and the Tathagata personally sealed my realization of the stage beyond study. As the Buddha now asks about the best means of perfection, to me the turning of taste back to its knower is the best, according to my personal experience." Pilandavasta then rose from his seat, prostrated himself with his head at the feet of the Buddha, and declared, "When I first followed the Buddha to enter the path, very often I heard the Tathagata speak about the worldly which could not give joy and happiness. One day I went to town to beg for food, and as I was thinking about his teaching, I stepped inadvertently on a poisonous thorn that pierced my foot and caused me to feel pain all over my body. I thought of my body, which knew and felt this great pain. Although there was this feeling, I looked into my pure and clean mind, which no pain could affect. I also thought, how can this one body of mine have 2 sorts of feeling? And after a short mental concentration on this, all of a sudden my body and mind seemed to be non-existent, and 3 weeks later I achieved the stage beyond the stream of transmigration, and thereby attained arhatship. The Buddha personally sealed my realization of the stage beyond study. As he now asks about the best means of perfection, to me, the pure awareness that wipes out the conception of body is the best according to my personal experience. Subhuti then rose from his seat, prostrated himself with his head at the feet of the Buddha, and declared, "As my mind was already free from all hindrances in former eons, I can now remember my previous reincarnations as countless as the sands of the Ganges. Even when I was a fetus in my mother's womb, I had already awakened to the condition of still voidness, which subsequently expanded to fill all the 10 directions, and which enabled me to teach living beings how to awaken to their absolute nature. Thanks to the Tathagata, I realized the absolute voidness of self-natured awareness, and with the perfection of my immaterial nature, I attained arhatship, thereby entering suddenly into the Tathagata's precious brightness, which was as immense as space and the ocean, wherein I partially achieved Buddha knowledge. The Buddha sealed my attainment of the stage beyond study. I am, therefore, regarded as the foremost disciple because of my understanding of immaterial self-nature. As the Buddha now asks about the best means of perfection, according to my personal experience, the best consists in perceiving the unreality of all phenomena, with the elimination of even this unreality, in order to reduce all things to nothingness.